inventory is always important. You always must look into your inventory list and see what you got in order to know what you need to reorder. Now, in that situation, altogether, collectively speaking, the Dallas Cowboys got a large inventory of wide receivers on the bottom end of the roster. Of course, we got the TJ Vasher, who's trying to make this team, undrafted guy. And then we had a Brennan Eagles guy who's trying to make this team. Osirus Mitchell, who's trying to make this team as well. And, of course, Simi Fehoko, he's trying to make this team as well. So you got those guys, and now you already have your current supply. And last year we had the Aaron Parkers of the world. We had some other guys that attempted to make this team, but unfortunately they were not able to stay on this team. I think his name was Malik Turner. He came on the later end of this situation of trying to make this team, and a Chris Lacey. All of those names entail guys are trying to make this team on the bottom end. But on your top end of the bottom end guys, you have Noah Browns of the world. Of course, you have Cedrick Wilson. And out of the two guys, Noah Brown, of course, he had 14 receptions and I believe 154 yards, averaging 11 yards per catch, which nothing to be really say, okay, that's a high-end guy or bottom-end guy, but he did play some special teams movement for you, as well as when you think about Cedrick Wilson, who had 17 receptions last season, 189 yards, and he was averaging 11 yards per catch, and he had 2 touchdowns, and I believe he threw a touchdown to Dak Prescott. Now, one can argue out of the bunch, Cedrick Wilson may be the most poised guy out of this situation because of the fact that he works out tremendously with Dak Prescott. He's familiar with the system, and on top of that, he can give you options of special teams as it relates to punt return. But Simi, he bangs on the desk loudly because of the fact that he's 6'4". You can line him up inside. He's new, and of course, like Stephen Jones said, the new guys are always more valuable because you can get more out of return from your newer product, which is not bad in a sense from a business model. This is all business. You always look, as the general manager of this team, the general manager should approach everybody and have a meeting before the season starts and say, hey, this is nothing personal. This is business. My job will be to replace you. I'm trying to find a cheaper way to put better product out there on the field. As crazy as that sound, that's just how it goes. And from the aspect of talking about, well, you trying to find cheap, but you also got to sell your veteran guys that are the leader, that I guess you can look at it and say those that are leaders of the team and value their thoughts and say, hey, my job and my responsibility, that's the political game of it, to provide you the best suitable value players, product players, players that can make a difference type of situation. But it's business, nothing personal. And 9 times out of 10, some general managers don't have that conversation with their players, which I understand. But Cedrick Wilson, he got injured last season, I believe. Or no, he didn't get injured last season. He got injured the season before. And we were saying to ourselves, man, if this guy can ever be healthy. And then, of course, we saw the fact that Dak Prescott went down and he disappeared, Cedrick Wilson. And I believe the next guy in line was Noah Brown. When you think of Noah Brown, sometimes you look at it and say, man, when this guy's going to emerge himself as a legitimate guy that he can play on his team. And we waited and we waited and we waited. And not until last season we saw some sparks from Noah Brown when he was inserted in. And, of course, we want to see that. We want to see somebody come in and make an impact and make a movement. And that is what he did when he got his chances to shine. Now, here's what we got to go up against. You do not want to sully and denigrate and just give these guys positionings without fighting for it, right? So my thing is the TJ Vashers, I know, 6'6" kid, and Osirus Mitchell, he's like 6'4.5", 6'5" himself. And you're talking about Simi, he's 6'4" and he can run majority of the route tree. And then you got Brennan Eagles that can really pretty much He could do some intermediate routes. So now how do you plan this out properly without adding politics to it? Well, I'm quite sure that John Stephen Jones want to put out the best product available, but we got to look at it like this. When health plays a value, right? We seen this before. A guy have a hell of a training camp. I mean, I forgot his name, but his name was Reggie one year, catching every ball in sight against there. We seen this song and dance before. I think Reggie was a 4'3" guy, small, tiny guy. They gave him number 11. I forgot his last name. Y'all put it in the chat box. But, man, Reggie was looking good. And I'll never forget me and Shango, we was out there in Oxnard. And we was like, yeah, Reggie going to make this team because he's catching balls across the middle. He's taking the top off the defense. And, my goodness, this guy is fast. He's elusive. And then when the lights cut on, Reggie could not be seen at all. And that's what robbed a lot of teams last season, not being able to clearly judge a player. You can do marvelous things, wonderful things as it relates to college level. But now when it's time for the lights to turn on, and there's levels to this, there will be a guy during this offseason, during this preseason, well, before the preseason, get all of the hype, all of the fame, get all of the fortunes, get all of the glory from the media. He's catching everything. But, man, when those lights cut on, will he continue to do the same thing? And that is why the Amari Coopers, the Michael Gallup, the CeeDee Lambs of the world don't have to worry. Because when the lights are on, they continue to shine and elevate. So we'll be looking to see whether or not these young guys will continue to do that. Now, Noah Brown, I mean, from last season, you look at it, he will still have his confidence. Like Ripley's Believe It or Not, he will still have his confidence to spill over for this year. And Cedrick Wilson, he will still have his confidence that spill over from last year to this year. So that's what it goes down to. Now, who do Law would like to see out there? Oh, my goodness, I like the Simi kid. I think that his speed, his height, and the way he run his routes, yes, there will be some things that he will have to improve on, especially at the top of his route. But I believe that the guy can still figure things out. He's a student of the game, cerebral approach. I pretty much think that he will be able to step it up. Now, I know for sure this is a chess move when you think about it. Think about this. The objective, and I'm not trying to say this out here for anybody to say, well, only speak positive. You never know about these guys. No, I'm going to give you guys the red pill form. The red pill says, man, Michael Gallup, if they do not approach you, bro, before the season is finished with, you gone. They need to approach you with a new contract. So somebody's knocking at the door. They're banking on one of these guys to step up and elevate. Now, y'all can take the blue pill and say, well, hey, all of the guys that's on this team that's already here is going to stay on the team. And Michael Gallup, he's going to be the next greatest thing since sliced bread. You can say the same thing for Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. These three, they're not going anywhere. But I come here to tell you guys that most of you guys that join the Law Nation crew, y'all want the red pill for them. Right? I see so many people say, Law, man, I want the truth, man. I don't want nobody to lie to me, kick it. Well, the Joneses are looking for somebody for cheap. Say what you want, but they ain't bringing these guys that are undrafted for no reason on to the team and hoping that they don't make it. Come on, let's be real with it, right? So, hey, we got to look into this thing. I'm going to tell you guys, out of Brennan Eagles, out of TJ Vasher, out of Osirus Mitchell, shout out to Mississippi State, Hell State over here, and, of course, Noah Brown and Cedrick Wilson. My go-to guy, I still like Cedrick Wilson over Noah Brown. That's me. That's my thoughts. I like Simi to make this team pretty much from before anything happened. I like Simi to make this team because I feel that he can probably give you a little bit more juice than what Noah Brown brings to the table. And I think, this is just me, that you can roll with that particular situation. Now, TJ Vasher, it depends whether or not when the lights get bright. Because we can see all of the athletic moves that the kid can do, pulling the ball out of the sky, giving God a handshake because that's how tall he is when he reach out for that ball. But I want to know, can he do the same thing when those lights cut on? He might be training camp specialty, right? Like the other guy named that I couldn't remember, but I just remember Reggie, because me and Shango were like, Reggie, come on, man. We will see. I want to know your thoughts, though, Cowboy Nation. Who do you guys feel that may be that unseen guy that nobody think to know of that will make this team as it relates to that wide receiver push? Will they get rid of two of the guys, Cedrick Wilson and Noah Brown, for the new fish? Or will they keep one and bring in one? That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go.